Yes, I am starting university right now in Germany in German, and I just been through a very strenuous day of starting Studienkolleg, and I finished that with a very good score, I would say. And yes, in these videos, I'm gonna show you exactly 7 easy key steps in order to study here in Germany, and exactly what kind of papers or documents you need to study in German. The first step, which is also the most important step, which is you need German certificates, usually B1 and B2 for Studienkolleg. I mean, you can get higher, but I don't think you guys have that at this stage. Anyway, you need this. There's a lot of types of, like, let's say certificates, but I usually see people do Goethe, okay? You guys can consider that. And of course, you need to find a good place to study and also take the test, right? I usually study that in the capital cities of my country, which is Hanoi. And then there's just like 2 places you can take the test, which is Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. I'm talking this to my fellow Vietnamese students, okay? Anyway, second step, very easy, is TestAS. I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need in this test. Basically, this is an IQ test, okay? This have 2 parts. The first part is core test, and the second part is depending on what major you're starting at this moment. For example, if you want to, let's say, starting anything related to economics, it means that you need math knowledge, okay? Then they're gonna test you your math knowledge. Same logic applies if you're starting, let's say, literature, language, or what kind of, social science whatsoever, I don't know. Then the second part, beside the core test, is gonna be related to, let's say, language test, okay? And about the core test, also this second part, there's a lot of like materials, models you can find online. About the core test, I think it's not that hard, to be honest. It's like basically test you with, let's say, image, okay? It's kind of like giving a lot of like patterns about circle, rectangle, square, whatsoever. And they're gonna test how you understand that. There is nothing related to really like knowledge, I would say, but the second part gonna really most important part, because it's gonna relate directly to the major you're starting. For me, I'm starting math. They test me like, let's say, my logic, whether I'm suitable for my major or not, you know. And the same, let's say, score range gonna be around 90 above to, let's say, 130. I mean, usually people are gonna more than 90 and below than 100, you know. That is the average range. Okay, so the third step gonna be APS, and sadly, this step is only for China, India, and Vietnam. So what this step is about is basically a process they're gonna test whether your academic documents are genuine and whether you are eligible for starting university in Germany. And you guys know why Vietnam is in this list. I just got this ring in 2018, and this ring this year, 2026, they're really beautiful, but they fake, you know. Duh. So basically what you need to do for this process is that documents of your, let's say, certificate, academic requirement documents, you need there, okay? For example, high school diploma. You also need admission letter from the university you, let's say, pass or you have that in your home country. For example, in Vietnam, if you like, okay, after finishing your high school, you need to get admitted in a university in Vietnam. Also, that university need to be recognized by Germany. And about that list, you can go find yourself on the internet. Go check it and see whether your university you are like planning to get into or already in are recognized by Germany or not, okay? And after that, you have to, like, let's say, put all documents, put in a post, send it to the authority that responsible for this kind of thing, okay? And about the APS, I want to give you guys a warning. I'm gonna talk about my Vietnamese fellows right here, okay? Your scores in your high school, after you pass the high school, let's say, university entrance exam, you need a certain score in order to get accepted or let's say in order to be eligible for APS. Okay, I'm gonna talk about recent years. Okay, so you need to take at least 6 subjects, right? And the first 3 subjects gonna be, let's say, literature, math, English, right? That is like compulsory subjects. And then the 3 other subjects, you know, usually some kind of like, it depends and it changes depending on the year. And the requirement is, first, no subject is below 4. Second is the total score of the 6 subjects need to be minimum 39, okay? And it basically means the average score around 6 to 6.5. It's not that hard, guys. The only really sad thing, I mean, I'm so like know a friend of mine that one of his score is like below than 4. So that's really sad if you guys don't really put too much effort and attention on a single subject. Okay, don't do it like that. And I heard somewhere also you need at least 3 subjects that is more than 6. Okay, so you cannot do like one subject is like 9 or 10 and the other 5. No, okay, be careful with that. Okay, and you are only eligible to study in the same or related field. Okay, so for example, if your main major is math, okay, you're gonna study economics, business, or whatever is related to, you know, economic stuff like that, right? You cannot study medicine or engineering stuff, right? And let's say if you want to switch, then again you have to I think this year they like, let's say, make it loose for everyone. The previous year you cannot change at all, but I heard somewhere in these years you can like a little switch. But of course you have to study in Studienkolleg that teach your changing field, okay? And of course you need again take a different TestAS and reapply everything again, you know, like not relate to your previous field. But I don't know about upcoming years because every year change, but I heard that yes, it become loose, not like concrete, like you have to study exact the same field anymore. Okay, that is the 3rd step. Okay, so the 4th step gonna be sulasum, which is admission letter from preparatory college. I said it again, okay? Preparatory college with Studienkolleg, not university yet, because you need at least 1 year to starting in preparatory college in order to study in university. I'm gonna say this in the later part in a very detailed way, okay? So how do you guys get this paper and this document? There's 2 ways to attain it. First, you can go directly to the website of the school that you want to apply for, see all the like, let's say, documents that they require you and upload there. Or the second step, most students here or future student, you guys gonna go to the website, which is Uni Assist. So this website gonna help you to like take all documents and let's say deliver it, give it out to all the school you want. Because there are a lot of schools, they just don't do it like directly, like I said, the first thing. Instead, they just give all the like the job and stuff for Uni Assist, okay? And I think around 67% of school gonna do that. So just go there, you know, see what documents they need. Usually all like documents about yourself, passport, your certificate, your TestAS, APS, everything you upload there. And usually gonna take at least few weeks to 4 weeks or more, depending, okay? And then they're gonna give you out either a paper that maybe calculate the numbers and they transfer it to German score, because German score system is really different from your home country score system, okay? And you're gonna take it and give it to the school you want to study. Next step, which is the 5th step, after you get sulasum, also known as admission letter, just pack your thing and go in Germany. But no, not yet, not starting yet. You need to fucking take another test. And this test is called Aufnahmetest in German, which is like they're gonna test your knowledge again to see whether you can study in their preparatory college or not. And what exactly they're gonna test you? The test consists of 2 parts. First part is German, of course, and German. It consists of also hearing and kind of like looking test. Let's say filling the blank, writing sentence, I mean, it's really long, you know. You guys are gonna just like go to internet, search it out, okay? And the second part, they're gonna test the knowledge of your subject. For example, if you're studying math, they're gonna test your math. And don't worry, this kind of like math is usually around, let's say, high school knowledge, okay? And let's say you're studying technique, they're gonna test you physics, okay? Or you're studying medicine, they're gonna test your chemistry, okay? So yes, it really depends on what major you're starting, but yes, they're gonna consider two parts like that. So that is the Aufnahme test, and this Aufnahme test is truly a dead battle. Why? I'm gonna tell you why. So basically, you're applying for this Studienkolleg A, and sadly, a lot of people also applying with that. Let's say 800,000, 10,000, who know? I think I make a bit too much. But anyway, you don't know the numbers, right? But the problem, the most important thing is there are only 20 seats in one classroom. And sadly, in that semester, you have to be the 20 students that have the highest score of that test in order to get into that Studienkolleg, okay? And usually a Studienkolleg have 4 or 4 or 6 kind of classes, and each class is different, let's say, course, okay? And here, as far as I know, we have T course, M course, V course, and G course, okay? So this course also have around 20 to 25 depending on Studienkolleg, or even less than. Logically say 4 course, also 4 courses. Each course have like 20 people. Then you kind of like around 80 to 100. I would just like be generous, 100, okay? Then that semester for that Studienkolleg, only 100 a student get accepted into that Studienkolleg, and the rest die. So my advice is applying for as much as Studienkollegs you can across the whole Germany. And as far as I know, it's just around like 20 to 30 Studienkolleg in Germany. It's like because not all the university in Germany have Studienkolleg. Okay, of course, don't worry about that because everything has a price. If you want a, let's say, it's also a tip, okay? If you want a very easy Studienkolleg to get in, just do one that's like very far from the middle of Germany, let's say next to other country, next to the border whatsoever, or in a very small village, okay? Because in the big cities, of course, common sense. A lot of people also want to get into that. So yeah, the fucking, well, let's say competitions or competitors will be crazier, right? Okay, so that is the 5th step. Now the 6th step, which is starting in Studienkolleg. Congratulations. Is everything done? No, like people always said, study for taking a test. Okay, so study to take a test. After Studienkolleg, you gonna, for my school, the other school, they don't have this, or maybe they do, I don't know. But every week or every 2 weeks, we will have like, let's say, a short test. This test, you're not notified first, okay? So it's just like very, let's say, sudden. And they're gonna test you because the score, very important for them to judge you and to see whether you pass the preparatory college or not. And usually it consists of 2 semesters. The first semester, they gonna test let's say 6 subjects first. And for me as a math economic students, we have 6 subjects, which is this. And really also different depending on what course you're starting or what course you're starting. At the end of the semester, let's say the first semester, you will have a clausur, which is a written exams, okay? And they're gonna test you all the subjects you're studying, all knowledge you're studying in, let's say, the previous 3 months, okay? And if you don't pass, you have to study that semester again. And after that, you still don't pass, please. You have to go back to your home country or maybe switch to something easier, which people usually do. Some of my friends do it, which is hospital, okay? Let's say you pass it. Now you're gonna come to the 2nd semester, applying the same theory, but now we have new subjects. And of course, the end of the semester, you have to take the written exams. And if you don't pass, you have to start it again. Every student have maximum 2 years to finish Studienkolleg in Germany. And if you don't finish or you cannot, sadly have to say this, but there's no chance for you to start in university anymore. And you think it's done? No, it's not done this. Because after 2 semesters, let's say you pass the first semester and the second semester successfully, now the last test is waiting you at the end, which is FSP. Okay, FSP is basically the last test that tests every knowledge that you have from your first semester and second semester. For anyone here think, oh, I can just throw my books and everything from the first semester and I don't have to remember anymore, you got wrong. Don't be like me. Okay, and of course it's around, like, let's say after the closure in the second semester, 1 month or less, and you have to take that. And a lot of people actually die from this because, well, I'll take example of my class. Okay, at the first semester we have around 20 people, but, well, you can guess after the first semester it's just half the class, and then at the second semester half the class died. So yes, anyway, when you pass that, everything will fall into place because now you have a certificate that will let you applying and make you eligible for all the university in Germany, but of course only NC5, which mean there is like 2 types of university in Germany. One is they get students that have, like, let's say a certain score that they require, and the second is they don't care about the score you have. But of course, in order to pass the, let's say, FSP here, you have minimum, let's say 4 to 5 in German score system. Okay, as long as you pass it, there is still a university out there always ready to accept you. Of course, you cannot get into top university or in a big city, since you need to have, let's say, around 1 to 2 in German score system. Okay, after FSP. But you know, eventually all the hard work will pay off. So once you pass Studienkolleg, you know, and you got a really good score, let's say around 1, 2, or 3, now welcome to university life in Germany. Is the university hard? I think I'm gonna make it another video if you got interested. But just remember that this is just the beginning, okay? Like Maddie said,
this is just the beginning.
I think the most important thing is to just be diligent starting, because I don't think it's that much different from Studienkolleg, I mean the knowledge. But of course, depending on what Studienkolleg you're studying, some Studienkolleg they teach a very easy knowledge compared to university, some very hard. But one thing for sure, if you choose university in big city, let's say like München or Frankfurt or Hanover, Hamburg, then or Köln, then this kind of university, probably they're gonna very competitive, and of course they're gonna teach you, let's say, the knowledge that is harder than average. And yeah, see how many tests Germany really tests people before you can even have a chance to start university here in Germany. A lot of tests, thoroughly and carefully, a lot of examination, and you have to kill your fellow friends, like 1,000 friends out there, to just get, let's say, 1 in 26 in preparatory college, and then after that, university. So yeah, it's not like that normal countries that you can just put money into and directly start university, like let's say the USA, right? And again, a question, can I directly start university in Germany? Okay, yes, but everything has a price. Like again, it's not USA and Australia, okay? Anyways, you have to have C1 in TSC, or let's say C2. Why? Because after Studienkolleg, I swear to God, after that, you learning German, everything in German like a crazy person. So basically, people who starting Studienkolleg in Germany, if they ever passed, immediately qualified, as now their German's competency is around C1 or C1, you know? Yes, if you want to start here in Germany without starting preparatory college, you need C2 Kother or C1 TSC, okay? But I don't think much guy would do that. And plus, let's say 2 years of university in your home country. So basically, 2 years university in your home country and C1 or C2 German certificates with the same major. So if any guys want to change major, this path is not for you, okay? And of course, in APS, you also need an interview for the knowledge you're starting. So yes, everything have the price. Alright, so that is for the video today. I hope you guys find this video useful. And thanks for watching.